The ship screamed as it tore through the atmosphere, its hull groaning under the strain. Romula's muscles tensed, her bare thighs pressing against the pilot's seat as she wrestled with the failing controls. The thin fabric of her flight suit, torn at the shoulder from her escape, clung to her sweat-slicked red skin, the deep crimson hue darkening with exertion. Her curved horns, black as polished obsidian, caught the dim emergency lights as she threw her weight against the steering yoke. "Take it off. Take it off, please." The thought was a razor in her mind. Not a plea. Never a plea. But the belt, that damn thing, bit into her waist with every breath, its intricate silver filigree pressing into her skin like teeth. A wedding gift. A shackle. The crash sent her sprawling into the mud. Romula was on her feet before the dust settled, her bare feet sinking into the wet earth as she scanned the horizon. The prince's men would be coming. They always came. A cabin. Small. Isolated. Smoke curled from its chimney, and the scent of oil and burnt metal hung thick in the air. She didn't bother knocking. The door splintered under her boot, and the man inside, human, whirled, a hydrospanner clutched in one grease-stained hand like a weapon. His dark eyes locked onto hers, then flicked down her body, taking in the torn flight suit, the heaving chest, the way the belt cinched her waist just a little too tight. Romula bared her teeth. "You. Engineer?" The man, Jasper, didn't lower the spanner.
"Who the hell are you?"
"Someone who needs that thing off." She jabbed a clawed finger at the belt. "Now." Jasper's gaze lingered on the intricate metalwork, his brow furrowing.
"That's not standard issue."
"It's a collar." She snarled. "And it's broadcasting my location to people who want me dead." A beat. Then Jasper snorted.
"And you decided to bring that problem to my doorstep?"
Romula took a step forward, her tail lashing behind her. "I don't have time for this. Take it off." Jasper didn't flinch.
"Or what? You'll rip my throat out?"
She leaned in, close enough that he could see the faint tremor in her hands, the one she couldn't control. "If I wanted you dead, you'd already be bleeding." Silence. Jasper exhaled sharply through his nose, then tossed the hydrospanner onto the workbench with a clatter.
"Fine. But if this thing explodes, I'm throwing you out the window first."
Romula's lips curled. "Deal." The belt hissed as Jasper's tools probed its seams. Romula sat rigid on the workbench, her claws digging into the metal edge. The cabin smelled of oil and something earthy, Jasper's scent, she realized. Human. Strange. She'd never been this close to one before.
"Hold still."
Jasper muttered, his breath warm against her hip as he bent over the belt. She nearly laughed. Hold still. As if she could. Every nerve in her body screamed at her to run, to fight, to do something, but the belt held her as surely as chains.
"You're shaking."
Jasper observed, his fingers pausing. "Get on with it." She snapped. A smirk tugged at his lips.
"Not used to asking for help, are you?"
Romula's tail lashed. "I don't ask." Jasper's eyes flicked up to hers, dark, assessing.
"Yeah. I noticed."
The belt gave a sudden, violent whir, its inner mechanisms contracting. Romula gasped as the metal bit deeper into her skin. Jasper jerked back.
"What the hell?"
"Don't stop." Her voice was raw. He hesitated, then leaned in again, his touch more deliberate now.
"This isn't just a tracker."
Romula exhaled through clenched teeth. "Don't stop." The silence stretched between them, broken only by the soft clink of tools and the distant hum of skimmer engines. Jasper worked in quiet concentration, his fingers brushing the exposed skin just below the belt. Romula stiffened.
Sorry.
He muttered, not sounding sorry at all. She studied his face, the furrow between his brows, the way his jaw tightened when a mechanism resisted him. He was younger than she'd first thought. Not a boy, but not yet hardened by the years. Why live out here alone? She asked abruptly. Jasper didn't look up.
Why run from a wedding?
A fair trade. Romula flexed her claws. It wasn't a choice. On my world, bloodlines are curated. That made him pause.
You were bred for this?
The word bred sent a ripple of disgust through her. I was selected. Jasper's expression darkened.
Same thing.
Another click. The belt loosened slightly. Romula let out a breath she hadn't realized she was holding. I was selected. Your turn. Jasper wiped grease from his hands onto his pants.
I was an engineer on the Astrius colony ship. It didn't end well.
She waited.
Politics.
He said at last, his voice flat.
The wrong people got paid to look the other way. Life support failed. I was one of the lucky ones.
Romula understood then. The isolation. The wariness. You ran.
Yeah.
His fingers found a hidden latch.
Like you.
The belt gave a final, shuddering whine, then fell open. Romula's breath caught. Jasper held the cursed thing aloft, his brow furrowed.
There's something else in here. Some kind of.
A fine, shimmering mist erupted from the belt's core, coating Romula's bare skin in an instant. Her vision blurred. The world narrowed to two things, the heat pooling low in her stomach, and Jasper's startled face as she reached for him. The mist clung to Romula's skin like liquid fire. Her vision swam, the cabin's rough-hewn walls blurring into streaks of amber and shadow. Jasper's face hovered before her, his expression caught between concern and something darker. His lips moved, but the roaring in her ears drowned out the words. Every breath was a struggle. The drug worked its way through her veins, turning her blood to molten gold. Her muscles trembled, not from fear now, but from the sheer, unbearable need coiling tighter with each passing second.
Romula.
Jasper's hand gripped her shoulder. She snarled, knocking his arm away. Don't. But her body betrayed her. The moment his skin left hers, the emptiness was worse than the fire. She swayed forward, her claws digging into his shirt. Jasper went very still. The belt's poison was clever. It didn't cloud her mind, no, it sharpened it. Every detail burned crystalline, the rapid flutter of Jasper's pulse in his throat, the way his pupils dilated as she leaned closer, the hitch in his breath when her tail curled around his wrist.
Tell me what you need.
His voice was rough. Romula laughed, a broken, desperate sound. You know. She saw the moment he understood. Saw the war in his eyes, duty against desire, caution against the storm raging between them. Then his hands were on her waist, pulling her flesh against him. The contact was electric. Romula gasped as the heat between them flared brighter, her body arching into his touch. Jasper's fingers traced the ridges of her spine, mapping the sensitive spots. She shuddered, her claws raking through his hair as he bent his head to her throat. His lips were cooler than her fevered skin, a fleeting relief against the fire. She dragged him closer, her leg tightening around his thigh. The coarse fabric of his pants scraped against her bare legs, an unbearable barrier. Off. She demanded, tugging at his shirt. Jasper obeyed, his hands never leaving her body. The shirt hit the floor, followed by the remains of her flight suit. The cool cabin air ghosted over her overheated skin, but it was nothing compared to the heat of Jasper's palms skimming up her ribs. She pushed him backward onto the narrow cot, following him down without breaking contact. The frame groaned under their combined weight, the sound swallowed by Romula's breathless growl as Jasper rolled them, pinning her beneath him. His mouth found hers. The kiss was anything but gentle, all teeth and desperation, a clash of tongues and shared breath. Romula arched beneath him, her claws scoring red lines down his back. Jasper hissed, but didn't pull away. If anything, his grip tightened, his hips grinding against hers in a slow, deliberate rhythm that made her see stars. The world narrowed to sensation, the scrape of calloused hands, the press of heated skin, the way Jasper's breath hitched when she bit his lower lip. The drug's fire receded, not gone, but tempered, channeled into something brighter. Something more. The world narrowed to sensation, the scrape of calloused hands, the press of heated skin, the way Jasper's breath hitched when she bit his lower lip. The drug's fire receded, not gone, but tempered, channeled into something brighter. Something more. Romula's claws dug into Jasper's shoulders as he moved between her thighs, his body a welcome weight against hers. She could feel him, all of him, the hard planes of his chest pressed to her breasts, the rough brush of his stomach against her sensitive skin, the way his hips fit perfectly against the cradle of her own. His fingers traced the inside of her thigh, slow and deliberate, before sliding higher. She gasped as he found her center, his touch both reverent and demanding. Every stroke sent sparks dancing behind her eyelids, every circling motion tightened the coil low in her belly. Jasper. His name was a plea on her lips, half growled, half moaned. He kissed her again, swallowing her sounds as his fingers worked her with devastating precision. She arched against him, her body strung tight as a bowstring. Then his fingers were gone, and she nearly snarled at the loss, until she felt him, truly felt him, the blunt head of him pressing against her entrance. Romula's breath caught. Jasper paused, his forehead pressed to hers, his breath coming in ragged bursts.
Tell me.
He demanded, his voice rough with restraint. She didn't hesitate. Now. He obeyed. The stretch was exquisite, the slow, inexorable slide of him into her sending shockwaves of pleasure up her spine. Romula's claws scored his back as she pulled him deeper, her body adjusting, welcoming. Jasper groaned, his hips snapping forward in a sharp, involuntary thrust that made her cry out. He stilled, his muscles trembling with the effort.
Too much.
She bared her teeth in a feral grin. Not enough. That was all the encouragement he needed. Jasper moved, his thrusts deep and measured at first, then faster, harder, as if he couldn't help himself. Romula met him stroke for stroke, her hips rolling in perfect sync with his, the cot creaking beneath them. The heat between them built with every movement, every shared breath, every desperate clutch of fingers and scrape of nails. She could feel it, the tension coiling tighter, the pleasure cresting, the inevitable fall looming just out of reach. Jasper's hand slid between them, his thumb finding that spot, and... stars. Romula came apart with a cry, her body clamping around him as wave after wave of pleasure crashed through her. Jasper followed moments later, his own release wrenched from him with a groan, his forehead dropping to her shoulder as he shuddered above her. Dawn painted the cabin in pale gold. Romula lay sprawled across Jasper's chest. The belt's poison had burned itself out, leaving behind a bone-deep satisfaction and an unsettling vulnerability. Jasper's fingers traced idle circles on her shoulder.
Your people have a hell of a wedding tradition.
She snorted. That wasn't the wedding. That was the prelude. His hand stilled.
Meaning?
Romula propped herself up on one elbow, meeting his gaze. Meaning the prince will be very motivated to find me now. Jasper studied her face, the sweat-damp hair clinging to her temples, the fading flush on her red skin. Then he sat up, dragging her with him.
Then we better not be here when he arrives.
She arched a brow. We? His grin was all sharp edges.
You didn't think I'd let you have all the fun, did you?
Romula laughed, a real laugh this time, and reached for her clothes. Outside, the first skimmer engines roared to life in the distance.